guys, welcome back to another episode of Girlfriend's Guide Podcast. I'm your host Tati.
And I'm your host Ellie.
And then we're back in the studio.
Yes.
I haven't been here since April.
Yes.
Early April. It's basically July now.
We haven't been here in a while. It feels good to be back. It feels good to be in the Chicken Room studio. Shout out to the Chicken Room.
It does. And then today we have a great episode for you guys. But before we dive into that, we gotta catch up, do all of that. Anything you wanna catch up on?
So we had an episode that went out last week. A very interesting episode. I think Tati and I caught up on how, we've been really busy, traveling, enjoying life. And we also, said, we're really sorry for being...
Yeah, I had COVID. So
yeah, Tati had COVID, so we couldn't record. But we're going to try to be, back on our grind and be more consistent.
No illnesses over here anymore.
Yeah, life happens. It's now the summer, so we'll be back in the studio now recording regularly and as we still take our trips as we should. But there's nothing new that's been going on, just trying to enjoy life to the fullest.
I feel like ever since we recorded our last episode, I gotta think. Because we were recording in advance, so I don't know if it's technically our last episode, but ever since we recorded the celibacy episode, the devil been texting me. It's like, once you talk about how good you're doing, it's like, boop, 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 boop,
He was like, oh, so this is what you talking about?
Right?
Okay.
You bragging now? You bragging?
Let me throw some.
Yeah, your way. Still celibate though. We didn't break it, but it's just, those memes that you see where it's like, it's like, okay, a hoe could fuck like 20 guys, and then the one time you fuck a guy, you get pregnant type shit. That's not me in this, but I'm using it as a comparison. Yeah. Because I don't be outside going to niggas' houses. And then I got invited to go watch Game 3. So I'm like,
so let me ask you this. When you went to watch Game 3 and got an invite, what you think was going to happen?
I mean, we watched the game. Yeah. We did. Yeah. Multitask.
So like, during halftime.
Multitask.
Okay.
So then, I got hit the nigga with so I have COVID text, so you might want to get oh my God.
It's giving me much, so, I might have a
STD type text. I was like, I don't ever want to go through. I'm like, the one time I go to a nigga's house. Wow. One time, and I got text you, I have COVID. Mind you, I was coughing, but everyone knows I got like low-key a chronic cough.
Yeah, so, Tati has a very much chronic cough. I always have
a chronic cough. So I was like, don't worry, it's not COVID. I told him that. I was like, oh, I know. Nigga, we was both wrong. Because it was. It was. To this day, I haven't heard from him. Oh. No, I don't even care like that. We always do that.
I hope he's okay.
I hope he was okay too. We always do like,
this is celebratory?
No, it's not.
Oh, okay. I thought it was a celebratory nigga, but clearly there's a whole new nigga I don't know about. Clearly.
Every on and off, every couple of years. Hey, hi.
Oh, yes. I know who this nigga is.
Hi, how are you?
I'm here. I know who it is.
But yeah, other than that, that's really the catch up. Okay. But we have a lovely guest.
My girl's outside.
Yeah, I am outside.
You outside. Okay.
Catching COVID, clearly.
Catching COVID, but still outside.
Yeah.
That's how you know you're really outside. If you haven't caught COVID yet and you're outside, you're not really outside.
I mean, God, you could be God's favorite.
Yeah. I'm inside. And I by the grace of God, still no COVID. But that's clearly I'm inside. I don't go anywhere.
I'm not like her.
Yeah.
We're opposite.
She's going out for me. When the most you'll see me outside is I'm on a plane outside.
To be outside.
To be outside. But I'm not like, outside, but I'm on flights outside.
Yo, someone count how many times we said outside in the last minute. But we have a lovely guest with us here today.
Yes, we do.
We have the lovely Shanell, and she's also a podcaster as well.
Podcast
So I'm gonna give you, your opportunities. Talk your shit. Tell us about yourself.
Yeah, thank you. My name is Shanell. I'm the host of Black Hippie Lounge podcast. I've been doing that for almost 2 years now.
Nice.
So it's definitely been, a learning journey for me to do that. I'm not really somebody who would normally be doing podcasting, but I started doing it and I really enjoy doing it. So that's what I've been doing with that. Other than that, just finished grad school.
Master Games.
Yes, fellow Master Games. Right.
Black excellence
right here.
Black excellence podcasters.
Yes,
right.
with masters.
With masters.
Period.
I love it.
I love it. Yes.
So yeah, I mean, this summer I'm definitely trying to be outside too. You know, get
Just
my free time back.
Outside.
Yeah, outside for real. Yeah. So yeah, I'm just enjoying, ready for the summer.
Yes, I love to hear it. So today's episode, we are going to be talking about, you know, what girlfriends got, relationships, dating, how it is being outside, you know? I think it's interesting because now both Shanell and I are single. Ellie's in a relationship, so we have different perspectives going on. And we're actually going to talk about dating. We're going to see it through a different lens, talk about it through spiritually. So how your spiritual perspective affects how you see dating. So I'm excited to dive into that because I don't think we talk about it, but we haven't dove deep into it.
This is my ministry. Because spiritual it plays an important role into my dating experience.
So I'm excited to dive into that. Yeah. So first things first, Shanell, are you single? Are you taken? Are you dating? What's going on?
Do you have a roster?
Yes. Can someone claim you?
Technically,
am I putting you on?
Yeah, you are. You kind of put me on the spot. That's okay. It's okay.
Hey, whoever's watching, if Chanel's yours, I'm sorry.
So, I mean, there's somebody that I've been talking to consecutively for like a while now. But, you know, technically I'm still single, you know, open to meeting new people and dating and seeing where things go.
Perfect answer.
Yeah.
Perfect. Like, you're letting them know, like,
You let it know. Listen, nigga.
Right.
Listen.
Right.
I've been talking to you for a while now, but I'm still seeing other people. Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
I like that.
That's perfect.
Because a lot of times I find that, you know, we're taken in our head, you know, and
we're not taking it in real
we're
life.
not taking it in real life, and these niggas are single. And we're in a relationship.
Yeah.
We give ourselves the title of the girlfriend without receiving the title of the girlfriend.
No, ma'am.
And it's like, that's the worst and the stupidest thing you can do, girls.
That is. You know? So how is it dating for you? Especially like you said you have, how is it dating when you have someone like primarily, but you're still open? Because I've actually never been in that situation where I had like a main or a primary person and then still be open to someone else.
Yeah. I don't know. It just kind of works, especially like when we met, it was like COVID time sort of. So it was started out more so being like, we just clicked right away and we just kind of got to know each other. Wasn't taking anything too serious. It was like, especially when I was in grad school, just having that person to kind of talk to and just check in on you and kind of just be more like a friend, you know, but like, obviously it was still, we had some emotional connection too, but it was no pressure. And so, no pressure, which is hard for me before too, because before I used to be like that, where it was like, okay, well, I'm talking to this one person. I like you. You must like me. So let's just go together. Like, why are we playing around, you know? Games, and it's just like now as I've gotten older and more dating, it's like, you have to be open. Until I feel like what I've been taught also is like, until a man says, I want you to be my woman, or will you be my woman? Clearly, you don't. You want me to do what I need to do. So you know, like I'm gonna be outside.
Don't be mad when I
and so you said as you get older. How old are you, if you don't mind me asking?
34.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, spill the secret.
You're giving me 28. 34 is not old, but you're not giving me 34.
No, you know what's
26.
Funny? When you guys were talking, I was like, I wonder how old they are.
We're 27.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah.
What are some gems you can? Well, she's in a relationship. So
First of all, like the secret. Honey.
I mean, first of all, we're black, so you know, black don't crack. But I think for me, it's just like not trying to have too much stress in my life and being conscious of like the energy that you do have in your life. You know, like you gotta take care of yourself first of all. Yeah. And you know, try to eat healthy, take care of yourself.
Look like you drink water.
Yeah, I try to. Yeah, I try to, and definitely trying to eat more. Eat
That's
more
what you say.
too.
Ooh, your skin's giving me water. That's a new caption. Your skin's giving me water. Yes, honey.
Yeah, and then honestly, just like living life how I want to. Like I'm very free. Just you know, I take things day by day. I'm not trying to stress over anything.
You give
and
me that energy.
Yeah.
Do you find that you're attracting different men compared to when you were in your 20s and now your 30s? You feel like you're like, okay, this is not the type of guys I want in my life. They bring me stress. Do you still attract those kind of guys, or are you attracting different guys now?
I feel like, every once in a while you still attract those kind of guys, but it's like now I think I have the mindset of like, all right, get to know someone, you know, kind of right away whether this person's playing with you or, you know, or they're worth it. And, you know, letting people show you who they are. You know, don't try to make this thing in your head about this person is like, oh, you know, he's cute, whatever. I don't like pay attention to the red flags, you know.
Our downfall. We often like built this character of the kind of guy that he's showing we're showing you his side. He's showing you he's really a fuck nigga. Yep. But you're out here like, oh no, he's so sweet. Nope. Yo, you see the way he look at me?
Yeah.
And it's just like, no, girl, the red flags are right there.
Nope. And you can't, don't try to change somebody either. Like, let them, they have to figure that out on their own. Okay. So
when do you, I think often we find it difficult to let go. It's like you invested 3 months into talking a guy, right? And you finally see his full character of who he is. Damn. It's like, damn, how do you let him go? Because now it's like, let's be real with yourself. He is this nigga, he's this type of guy, and you know he's not good for you. But then it's just like there's part of you that still cares about him. So it's just like, when do you know it's time to walk away? And you need to be like, yo, I gotta walk away now.
I would say pay attention to like your energy with that person. Like, do they make you anxious? Are you feeling like, you know what I mean? Or are you just like really enjoying that peace? You know, like having somebody that brings you that peace that you can just be yourself with them. That's kind of how it is for me and that my friend, you know, like, I guess that's the right term to say, you know, like, you know, like when we're together, it's fun. It's easy. Like we get each other, we talk about different things, and I'm not the type of person to like try to pry you to talk about things. I let you do it on your own, and like as we've gotten to know each other, he's just become more open and more vulnerable. And you know, vulnerability is definitely, for me, that's like a big thing. If I can see that you can be vulnerable with me, then that is already showing me that like you are opening yourself up to me, you know. And like, I mean, you know how guys are, they gotta have that ego part at first, but like once they're comfortable with you, then
they open up.
But I think guys know that's kind of, they're like, damn, kind of like, yo, I'm catching feelings.
And when they do that, they're gonna pull away or do something like that.
Once they start grabbing the pillow, like, let me tell you about my life. They know that's the moment right there that they messed up, because they're catching feelings.
So do you think you've learned anything from past relationships you've had that you've like, what's probably one of the biggest thing you've learned from a past relationship that you take with you now?
I think back to my most recent relationship was like 2018 and 2019. And at that time, I was in a space where I was like 29, I think. And so I was like having that, I'm almost 30. I want to get married. I want to have kids. And like, you know, this society mindset of like, you're supposed to be somewhere. And so we met, and then I realized afterward that I was settling. Like, I'm so like ashamed to say, I wasn't even fully attracted to him. Like, it was just like,
our society.
It was just like, okay,
like, I gotta get this done now.
I want a relationship. And so this person seems to be fitting what was good for me. But, you know, kind of like what we were talking about before we started recording, like how guys will show you who they are after a while. And it was like, after some time, I was just like, it just wasn't it. And it's
it
like
just, they can check the check boxes, but it's like, there's still something missing.
I might be putting you on the spot here, but you said that you were settling, and also he was checking out like what was good for you. So what was it about him that was it society showing you that was good for him?
I feel
like
like
he wasn't checking what you really wanted.
No, not emotionally. Okay. I felt like on the outside, he had a nice job, he had a house, he had his own car and stuff, and he, you know, spoke about marriage and like wanting to have kids. So I was like, okay, well, we kind of have the same values and match and stuff like that. But
should be enough.
But once you get to know someone, you're like,
you're troubled.
I don't think I could be around you for the rest of my life, you know? And it was like, for me, it was the emotional maturity. And before that, I hadn't really realized how important that was to me until I was with someone like that who, you know, this person like would do things like, ask me to do the love language test. I don't know if you guys have done that. And so I had never done that before, but I was like, okay, that's kind of cool that you're into that. You know, you seem to be in tune with that. I took the test, but then he never did anything about my love languages. So I'm like, well, what was the point of you asking me that? You know, so
you wasted my time.
And so, but it was more than that. It was just like emotionally, like it was like a wall with him. And I don't know if it was like personality or just like his comfort level. I don't know, but I'm very much a person that's like, I'm quality time, physical touch and stuff. So I'm just, and I'm at that time I was very much words of affirmation.
That's my number one.
And it was like pulling teeth for him to like give me a compliment. And I could like count on my hand how many times he gave me a compliment. And I was just like, it was other stuff too. It was like insecurity on his part. And like, so it was just like a lot of emotional stuff where I was just like, this ain't it for me, you know? It was, it just wasn't sitting well for me. And so after that, I've been single since that relationship, but I would say with that relationship is definitely not settling, you know, knowing what you want, taking your time to get to know someone. That was another thing. Because of my age and stuff, I was like, well, it's been this amount of months, let's be together. You know, like it wasn't like, I'm like, I don't want to rush into a relationship. If we're supposed to be together, then it's going to be, you know, on divine timing. So it's like, just take your time, get to know someone and be okay. You have to be okay with like, even if you connect with a guy and it's really great, sometimes it's just not supposed to be any more than that. And so I think that's another thing I learned too, like not trying to have in my head that once I meet a guy, he's cute, he thinks I'm cute, we connect, so it's supposed to be a relationship. Like sometimes people just come to your life to teach you stuff.
Yeah. We often build stories in our head immediately after we meet guys.
Yep.
Just like,
Yep. Yep. Exactly.
Let's take it slow. Let's calm down. Let's, step it back a little bit.
Did you ever go through a rut where you just didn't, even though you wanted to date, the dates just weren't there? Like you just didn't date? Not intentionally, because me, I just went on my first date in almost 2 years. Not intentionally. I mean, there was a pandemic, but still people was outside. Yeah. You know, it just didn't happen. Like guys would cross my path and it just never went to that next step of, hey, let me take you out. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I would say I use dating apps, and I feel like that's kind of just the vibe that I get from there. It's never really, to me, I've never had anybody like stand out where I'm like, okay, let's, I
haven't been on a date once from a dating app.
Yeah, I think I've went on like one or two.
You're not missing anything.
Yeah, you're really not.
It only leads to downfalls from there.
Yeah.
So you didn't, I'm guessing you didn't meet your friend on an app.
Funnily, I did. Actually, I did. So it's funny because when I met him, before that, I was on the app still, and I had been talking to this guy for like 3 months, and we went on dates, and it was like we were connecting, but I was just okay, it's still something's not sitting right with me. So I'm the type of person I'm like, okay, well, what are we doing here? Because I'm like, it's been this amount of time, and so what kind of, what's in your head? What do you want to do? And so this person like kind of gave me this roundabout answer. And then this is the first time I ever got ghosted. He ghosted me. And I was like, at the time I didn't realize that was going on, because I was just like, why are you being so weird, And so then around that time, that's when I actually connected with my friend on the app. And so like he was right on it to like, let's meet. And so I was like I wanted to meet him, but I was just like still kind of thinking about the other guy. But my friend was like, just go, you never know, And so so it's funny, like in the pictures, how sometimes you're like, okay, you have in your head what this person's gonna look like. So I get there,
he was way better looking.
When I came out the car, I was like, oh, okay. And so I was like, okay, this works for me. Right. Oh my God. That's it was just like from the jump, like the conversations that we had through the app, it was like flowing the same in the first, and like it was just like,
we just this is since COVID, right?
Yeah, and we just get each other.
You guys made the COVID and after COVID.
Yeah, wow, that too. Yeah,
a lot of people who meet in COVID is just kind of like, it's once outside really start opening.
The real character is really open.
Yeah. Does he know about the podcast?
My podcast?
Yeah. Do you feel like as a podcaster it's harder dating? Because you have an outlet to express yourself a little bit more so than other women. Like I feel like for me, if a guy were to listen to the podcast early on, they would get to see another side of me that typically, you'll like me a little bit more before I show you the, So do you find that a little bit difficult, or hasn't been an issue?
I don't feel like it has really been an issue, but I'm also not like, I don't really put it out there for them like that. I mean, he knows I have a podcast, and like, if you follow me on like my Instagram or something, you would know. And that like, before when I had Hinge, I had it like on my profile, but now I don't have it on there. But I don't know. I don't feel like it necessarily affects my dating. You know, I feel like that's just my thing. Like that's what I really like to do. So it's like, if somebody is, you know, interested enough to listen to my podcast, I feel like that would be like points for me, because it's like, okay, you're taking the time to like really get to know what I do.
Advertise for me.
Exactly. So I mean, I feel like that's, if someone does choose to do that, that would be great. But it's not really, I haven't really had any problems.
Question, because when we were talking offline, we talked about how, you know, when girls want a guy that other girls would want. Like, you know, when guys say, oh, we don't have hoes, and we're just like, okay, we don't believe you. Yeah. But then when girls, like me, when the guys ask me, like, no, because I really don't think I do. But you said, well, we came to a conclusion. I should start, not lying, but just saying, yeah, I do have hoes. And what was your rationale behind that? Why should ladies say to guys, yeah, I have hoes?
I feel like, you know, just men, their ego, they like to, you know, have that competition and feel like he's like, no,
we got city boy Elijah here shaking his head.
Disagrees.
But also just like, I don't know, I feel like I've been taught to like not let someone think that you're just sitting around waiting on them. You know, like I feel like if they're really interested in you enough and they know that like there's other guys interested in taking you out and stuff, like they're gonna pick up the pace, like figure out what you want to do. So I mean,
I like that. I never thought about it that way.
But that's not lying.
That's not.
The thing is, you're saying you don't have any hoes. You do have other guys that are trying to hit your line. Just be like, yeah, I do got other guys hitting line. Because I was telling them how when I'm like, yo, I do it jokingly. Like, oh, you got other girls checking you out. I do it jokingly. But if you go ahead and lie to me, I know if you tell me no, I know you lying. Because there's no possible way you got no girls. Checking for you.
I'm checking for you.
I'm checking for you.
Exactly.
So I know the girls are checking for you.
Right. So don't lie to me.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna start saying that. I'm like,
I got me a little niggas.
Yeah, I got some people.
Yeah,
exactly. So we were talking to Shanell, and her friend is younger than her by 3 years, 4 years.
Yeah, 3 years.
3 years.
How is that with a younger man?
I mean, for the most part, it's okay. You know, it's kind of funny because when I met him, he was 29, and I was 32, I think. And so it's funny because like when I was on the app, I definitely like went back and forth, like, should I swipe on him? Because I'm like, before I was like, under 30, I don't know. But I was like, you know what, whatever, let me just do it, right? And so it's kind of funny, like I've watched him grow too. Now he's only like 31, but still like just coming into his 30s and how he's emotionally matured too. So, you know, I think that the thing that helps with us is that we are pretty much, you know, we get each other. I could be pretty patient, and I feel like he's learning things from me, but I'm also learning things from him too. And just being open. I think that's what helps.
First experience with someone younger?
Yeah.
So do you feel like he's probably been more emotionally mature than guys your own age or older that you've had experience with?
I would say so. Yeah.
Wow.
Why?
Yeah.
But that's the thing. She says that he has emotional qualities. Like that's important. Maturity. He has emotional maturity, because a lot of guys lack that emotional. I think emotional that's what maturity.
Scares me of being.
You can meet a guy. I could be 30 and meet a guy that's 24 and he's very mature compared to a guy my age who's 30. A lot of guys lack emotional maturity.
That's what scares me about going on. But it's working out for you.
Yeah.
We were just saying how like I'm 27. Like the lowest I feel like I could go is a year, because I'm just like at 26.
Yeah.
These niggas ain't.
Because guys are already mentally,
like,
guys are like 10 years behind us already.
I feel like it's just it's like the baby. It's dog years mentally, but going backwards. Like it's crazy. But I'm happy that's working. I need to be more open.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, but also you just want to be like conscious. Don't want to be in a situation where you feel like you're like raising somebody or like pushing them to do something. I've been in a situation
where someone was older than me, and I felt like I was raising them. So I feel like that's why I'm just kind of like, oh, then fuck going younger. Yeah. I just experienced my older. My mom told me I could do 10 years. 10 years to me.
You see, her mama, my auntie said that she can do 10 years.
To me, that's kind of a lot. I would do like 7, 8.
Depends how he look. If he look good, he look healthy.
True. And if he's mentally there.
Yeah. Emotional maturity. Yeah. That. You know, that plays an important role. Where we have guys, emotional maturity includes having easy conversations about
expressing your feelings.
Yeah, expressing your feelings, having conversations about, how you feel. Like if I bring up, this, you don't automatically feel attacked and be like
knowing your traumas.
Yeah, knowing your traumas.
Oh, your triggers.
Feeling it, like being able to talk about, different topics. I think there was a post that came out last week about how this guy was like, "Oh, what are you doing?" And this girl was like, just chilling at home. And he's like, "Oh, can I come through?" And then she goes, "No, you can't come through. I'm only allowing guys that in a relationship come." And then he gave that emoji, and she's like, "That's the thing I don't like about you. You can never use your words and stuff like that." And then she went on explaining,
and that's a good thing. Like, you don't want to protect your space.
Yeah, space. I don't invite guys over that I'm not in a relationship. And then she brought up like, what are we like? That kind of conversation, and he just couldn't answer a simple question, and it's just like. If you use really, your words. Use your words, not emojis and like. Yeah.
I literally just saw something today, like stop using the eye emojis. Like tell me, just tell me, tell me.
And guys also, and ladies, I'm trying to include girls in this too. It's just like when your partner brings up a serious question, don't try to make a joke out of it because. Part of it too, and most of the time, is that it was already hard for them to bring it up. The question. So it's just like, don't try to make a joke out of it. I know a lot of people do it because
that's a defense mechanism.
Yeah, defense mechanism. Okay, I gotta make a joke out of it, but like
awkward and uncomfortable.
Yeah, but try to be like, you can say like, I don't feel comfortable about talking about this right now. Maybe we can talk about this when I'm ready. Yeah. At least that just gives them space of like where your mind's at. So that's emotional maturity.
Yeah.
Hard to find. So one of the last things we want to talk about, which I'm excited to talk about, is so you're on a spiritual journey, correct? And that has impacted your view and how you see dating. So what made you go on the journey? How has it impacted your view on dating? Just dive a little bit into that.
Okay, so before going on the spiritual journey, I didn't even really know anything about that. It was actually after that relationship. It was at that time, like a lot of things were happening in my life that just like, I felt like I was losing everything. Like my life was just crumbling. It was like between housing and job and all that stuff. And so I feel like I got to a point where I had to release everything and just let things be and be more in tune with myself and figure out like, okay, things clearly aren't going how you want them to. Right. And like, what does this mean? Like, this is a time where you can check in with yourself and figure out, okay, what exactly do I want for my life? Kind of like what I was saying before, thinking, okay, marriage, kids and stuff. And those are things I still want, but it was like, clearly that's not the time for it right now. You need to focus on getting yourself together and like, what do you have to offer too? I think that sometimes we as women need to remember that too. Like you want someone to have all these things, but you got to come correct too, Right. So that at that time I had actually just got into grad school. So that was like something that I started focusing on, just like, I want to get, finish school, get my career better and stuff like that. And then it was just, I was listening to a podcast, from a woman. I forget what it's called, but she was from Boston too. And she talked a lot about spirituality. And so I learned more about it from her. And then just, there was another podcast that I listen to still. It's called Jerry Flowers. He's like a pastor in Texas. But he's like, it's religious, but he talks a lot about like spirituality too. Right. And so it was just like, for me, I never grew up going to church like that. So it was like learning how God works in your life. I think that was like something that was starting to opening my eyes to like, okay, like clearly this person had to leave my life for these things to come about. And like, I had to release these things for God to give me these blessings. Cause you can't hold on to the other stuff and still get more, And so, for me, that's actually when I started podcasting. I had never thought of doing podcasts before, but then, going through that experience and then listening to podcasts, I was like, okay, I can do something like this too. And for me, it was like a way it's like an outlet, I can share my story and share things that I've learned with other people. Hopefully they, it works with them too, and they can use it for their life. And I started meditating as well, and just learning more about, like I was saying, like your energy and being conscious of who you have around you, and also just like the people, even friends too, like what kind of things are they saying to you? Like it's more than just like, okay, this person's being, you don't want someone to be a hater or whatever, but it's like when you're sharing news with these people, are they happy for you, or are they like trying to, do little comments or whatever, and like, do they want to see you get ahead, or they want to hold you back too? So for me, it was a time where I really was just being on my own and just learning me. And then it was like COVID too, like that pushed me to really just tap in with myself and figure out like what do I want? What do I want for my life? What kind of woman do I want to be? And like the things that I want in my life. And so, you know, it's still a journey. It's an ongoing thing. Yeah. I have, you know, when I learned about spirituality, it was like, I'm trying to think of the term. It was like, not spiritual journey, but it's like a time when like things just kind of a shift in your life, right? And learning to like let it happen. And that was something that I was struggling with before, like feeling, let go and let God, and like having faith, not just in God, but in yourself too. You know, you can, when you have those times where things are just not going right and you're not understanding, like think back to other times when stuff like this may have happened too. And like you got through that, you know, so you're going to get through it. It's going to be okay, you know? And so just having that type of mindset now where I go into things open and excited for change and stuff like that and wanting to grow. And that's another thing. Like, I don't do stagnant. Like if someone, guy or friend or whatever, if I feel like you're holding me back or you're not trying to progress, our time is done because I'm going to keep going, you know? And so having that mindset too, you know, definitely has helped me with my journey. And then just being able to like share with other people, you know? So I think, I mean, that's kind of what I have.
Sounds like an amazing journey.
Yeah.
I know. Oh, that just, we were like, like that whole time.
Yeah. And I can connect with that. That's really important.
And as you guys get older, you know, we have experiences of women that, you know, it's going to put us in the place to want to have to, you know, grow. Yeah. I think that's definitely important. Just allowing yourself to grow, allowing things to be like when people got to go out of your life, like don't hold on to them.
Yeah. Let me tell you, God works in mysterious ways. Like, and Tati probably knows half this, like most of the story. Tati's my best friend. And 2020.
Yeah, right before, literally the week before the world. If we're talking about the same story.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I prayed to God and I asked God to like remove someone in my life. I was like, God, if it's meant to be, just, you know, please. And that's a hard prayer because especially if it's a person you care about. I was like, God, please remove this person in my life if, you know, this is not meant to be. And God just did exactly that. It was just like everything just went downhill completely after that prayer. And it's just like, that's not a prayer that you can do if you're not ready. Yeah. And it was just like, I'm not praying for sabotage or anything in my life, but it was just like, I felt in my heart like, you know, this was a prayer that I had to do and God just literally did that. And I think, you know, it was an experience that I learned from, and it was an experience that I think prepared me for the person I am right now. But it was just a prayer that I had to do, and like trusting God and let God control everything, and also have faith in myself to actually go through the process. And like,
that's how I became single. Forward. I became like, God, it's not. If it's not, just take it. And then a month later, me pulling on the floor crying. But, and you know, it's like this is what I asked for. I didn't know it was gonna hurt this bad. But this is what I asked for. Now I gotta like go through. And that's what I always say when people are like, why didn't you go back? I'm like, who am I to ask God for something? And then he does it. And then for me, like, haha, JK. JK. Who am I to do that? This is what I asked for. This is what I prayed for. And
I'm more scared of God at that point.
Exactly. I'm also going back. Like, last night, answer your fucking prayer.
I'm
like, you know?
Yeah. But it's, I think every woman probably listening could probably sit down and like actually testify and be like, wow, God has actually worked in mysterious ways like that spiritually, whether it's in your relationship or like anything that you're going through in life. So I think for me personally, spirituality plays an important role in dating. I was telling Tati the same thing when I started going to therapy. Not saying all the guys I dated didn't take seriously, but my therapist had said that I wasn't taking most of the guys seriously because of my spirituality. Like my spirituality was so important for me, and most of the guys lacked. I was not dating any guy that was any spiritual. I think most of the guys I probably dated that pretended that like they were spiritual, but they weren't compared to how I was. No comparison or anything. But if spirituality is important for you, and I feel like now that you're, you know, started your spiritual journey, do you feel like that's an important aspect in your dating now?
Yeah. I mean, I would never force someone to do something that they're not comfortable with, but that's something that I definitely share. So, you know, like I said, I meditate. So I do have my friend now. He meditates too. You know, introduce him into that.
Look at you. That's so beautiful.
Yeah, so I feel like it's something you can share with someone, and they can either choose to like participate or not. But just having in that mindset, like no matter what, I'm gonna do what I need to do for me. You know, and you know, I feel like if it's a part of who you are, then that person, if they're with it, then that's the right person that's supposed to be with you. If not, then you know. You gotta stick to what works for you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, guys, we just got enlightened. It was a great way to wrap up this episode.
That was beautiful.
Yes.
Thank you for sharing. Thank you.
We have a Melanin Monday, which we haven't had in forever, which is our Melanin Monday is Shanell.
Yes.
So, Shanell, I know you talked about yourself a little bit in the beginning, but tell them where they can find you, what your podcast is about, all of the good stuff.
Sure. So again, my podcast is called Black Hippie Lounge. You can find it on like Spotify and all those
platforms.
Platforms. I have Instagram. It's the same at Black Hippie Lounge. I have Twitter as well, the same name. I just got a TikTok not too long ago for Black Hippie Lounge.
Go follow.
Yes. And so, yeah, you guys can definitely follow me on there. I'm open to having guests on my podcast as well, and just, you know, working with more Black people, definitely, for sure. So, yeah, you guys can follow me on there.
And then shout out to our mutual friend Yanni, who helped with this connection, get this episode going. So shout out to you. Thank you. And thank you guys for tuning in to another episode of Girlfriend's Guide Podcast. And we will see you next time.
Bye, guys.
Bye.